Hey there lovelies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie, where I love to talk all things makeup. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what each makeup product is and what it does and how to use it. So let's get into it. The first product that I'm going to start out here with is a color corrector. Now this is a peach color corrector to use around my eyes to help cancel out the blue that I have in the corner of my eye. So I just take a little bit on my little pinky finger here, and I just have a little bit there on my finger, and I like to use my fingers because it helps warm up the product, and my little finger just fits so perfectly right here in that inner corner part of my eye. So color correctors can come in multiple colors. It can come in green and purple and yellow and red. I'm sure you've seen those color correcting palettes. And all of those are meant to color correct different discolorations that we have in our face. I have some red spots here and redness on my cheeks that I would use green to color correct that so that when I put my foundation on, it is canceled out. So if we take a look at a color wheel here, you'll see that red and green are opposite from each other on the color wheel, and so are blue and orange. As you go around that color wheel, you will see the colors that are opposite from each other. So if you have any discoloration on your face that is purple leaning or red leaning, then go the opposite side of the color wheel and you'll use that color to help color correct that discoloration. So essentially it will cancel out that discoloration. So as you can see on my eyes, because this is a peach color corrector, it also helps brighten my eyes. When I come in with my concealer, I don't have to use extra concealer to try and cover this. And because usually my concealer is a little bit on the lighter side, that blue can come through, shine through my concealer and make a gray cast. And I don't want gray around my eyes. I don't think you do either. So just using a little bit of color corrector will help avoid that gray cast. And it will help it so that you use thinner, fewer layers of your makeup. Okay, next I'm going to come in with foundation. This is a liquid foundation. There are many different foundation options out there. I'm not going to get into that today. If you would like a dedicated video about the different types of foundations and how to apply them, then let me know down in the comments below. But today I'm just going to be using a liquid foundation. So it usually comes in a bottle, whether it's a squeeze tube, this one's a glass tube, and what you want to do is shake it, okay? Because as your bottle sits there on your counter, it can kind of start to separate a little bit. And we just want to make sure that all of the pigment and any oil or water or other mixing agents are all mixed together with the pigment part of the foundation, so that when we squirt it out on our hands, we don't just get this big glob of it's unmixed foundation, right? So we want to make sure we shake that, okay? We're gonna go ahead and squeeze one pump out onto our hands. So you see how it's liquid and it's just kind of running down my hand there. Now what I'm gonna do is grab my beauty blender, or beauty sponge, really, it's not a beauty blender, and I'm just gonna tap into that. And then I'm going to start tapping this or patting motions like this, okay? We're not swiping or anything like that. We are tapping and pushing this into our skin. Now, foundation is meant to provide a layer of also kind of color correcting, or rather creating a blank canvas. There are different types of foundations out there. Some are full coverage, some are medium, some are light. This one's about a medium coverage for me. Always want to make sure to move your hair out of the way. I'm not looking for this to cover up my entire skin, right? Where you don't even see my skin poking through. With this foundation, I see a little bit of my skin poking through, and that's okay. Because it's a medium coverage, what that means is that it's going to provide me with some coverage to cover up some of my redness, or some of my veins popping through, or maybe some of my pimples that have decided to pop up. What this is doing is just giving me a more even canvas to work with. So now that I have that blended into my skin there, I'm going to grab my concealer. Now, I like to use a potted concealer. You will also see concealers very popularly in tubes like this, where when you pull them out, they have a doe foot. Okay, so you can sit here and you can apply this concealer. I'm not going to use this one today. I'm going to use my potted concealer, and again, I like to just use my pinky because my pinky is small enough to fit into the jar, first of all. And then where I need concealer is right here again in the corner of my eye, the outer part of my eye, and then I like to put it on my eyelid. A concealer is meant to brighten your face. So put it in spots where you want some highlighting effect. So maybe down the bridge of your nose, maybe a little bit on your chin, right here between your eyebrows. And it's also meant to conceal. Okay, so this is gonna, again, it's gonna be another layer on top of that foundation. Wherever I feel like that foundation did not cover enough, I'm gonna come in with my concealer and I'm gonna put it on there. And now I'm just gonna, again, take my beauty sponge and tap it in. A concealer is meant to help with those extra spots that just need a little bit more coverage. Next, I'm going to come in with some powder because I have combination skin where I get oily in my T-zone, which is my forehead here, down my nose, not on my lip, but on my chin, and then also in my pore areas right here. The rest of my face doesn't get super oily, so setting my face with some powder. And I'm gonna come in, I have some loose powder here. This is mostly a translucent powder. So a loose powder is meant to set the makeup, okay? There is also something called a pressed powder. I'm sure you have seen them. Those are also meant to set the makeup, but those are kind of more for on the go. Or finishing powder is also meant to set the makeup, but it's supposed to bring some blur to the face. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my puff and I'm going to dip into my powder there. I'm going to scrape off the excess. And again, I get oily in my T-zone, here and here, okay? First, I'm going to start on my eyelids so that I set that concealer, prepping for my eyeshadow application later. And this also prevents your concealer from creasing. Now I'm going to come in and put it in my T-zone where I get oily. This is going to help mattify rather than leaving it all, you know, dewy and radiant. Depends on the look that I'm going for, but for this one, I want to be a little more matte. Oh, another thing that I forgot to cover is an eyeshadow primer. I really like this one because it is slightly tinted, and this would also work really well on your eyes. Provide some coverage, as well as priming the eyelids for eyeshadow. Next, we're gonna come in with bronzer. Now, I'm gonna be using my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And a bronzer is meant to bring some warmth back to your face and dimension. And you're gonna apply a bronzer where the sun would naturally hit you. So where that's gonna be is first up here on your forehead. Make sure that you really blend that into your hairline, especially if you're gonna wear your hair up. I first like to tap it and then swirl it. Tap it to place the color and then swirl to blend it so that I don't have a harsh line between where the bronzer is and where my forehead is without the bronzer. And depending on your face shape and how you like to apply it, this will take some finagling on your part to figure out where you like to apply it. But on my face shape, I also like to bring it down the side of my face, and then I'm going to put it on my cheeks here. So what I did was make a big C shape with my bronzer. One last place to apply it also, this is optional, but right under your jawline here, up to your ear, and then down your neck. So again, look at this side of my face. I don't have any bronzer, no dimension. It's just one flat note from the foundation and the concealer that we put on. And then when I turn my face, you see all of this dimension that I've got. I've kind of chiseled out my cheek here. I've warmed up my forehead, and I've also chiseled out my jawline here. So when you look at me straight on, can you see the difference between this side of my face that has more of that dimension? It's got that summer glow going on and even winter glow. And then this side is just one note. It's very flat. And also pay attention to the tone of my bronzer. It's not too muddy where it's a mixture between, you know, very brown, very gray tones, but it's a perfect blend of some yellow and orange because, again, bronzer is supposed to be warming up our face. Now the last place that is optional to apply bronzer is just on the edge of your nose to contour your nose. And then a little bit at the end here. So you're kind of making an extension of your eyebrow shadow coming down. Next is blush. This is Heaven's Glow Blush Venetian Rose. And I'm just going to tap my brush in there. Now the point of blush is to bring color back to our face. Because right now we are pretty two-toned. We have our blank canvas from our foundation, and then we have the warmth from our bronzer, but we're missing a little bit of color. Naturally, our cheeks do have some color in them. We just covered that up with foundation. So now we're gonna bring the color back to our face in a very targeted way. And again, blush placement comes down to preference and face shape. I have more of a round face or square face. It's kind of a mixture between round and square. And so if I were to just place it right here on the front of my cheeks, that might add more fullness to my cheeks. And sometimes I am going for that, you know, cute, youthful, doll fullness look, and I will focus it on the apples of my cheeks. But generally, I bring it up higher on my face, on the sides of my face, to try and give me a lifted look rather than a fuller look. Another thing too, is you don't want to smile and then put your blush on, because as soon as you stop smiling, you see how my cheek dropped right there? Came up here and then dropped. If you were to put your blush on while you're smiling, up here on the apples of your cheeks, as soon as you drop, it's gonna bring that blush down here and it's gonna drag down your face, make you look very tired. So it's okay to put it on the apples of your cheeks, but just do it straight face, looking forward. Next, we have highlighter. I'm gonna be using my Essence Pure Nude highlighter. This is such an affordable highlighter for the best payoff. And the point of a highlighter, again, we have put foundation on, we have put bronzer and blush. We've made our face one note with the foundation, but then we brought in some color and some dimension with our bronzer and blush. But now we need to bring some more life back to our face, okay? So we have a concealer, right, that we can put in areas to help lighten our face, but help lighten and highlight different parts of our face. But a highlighter is going to bring light back to your face, that light reflection. So where the sun would naturally hit you is where you want to apply your highlighter. So that's going to be on your cheekbones. And I like to put mine here in the corner of my eye. You see how that just reflects there? That's where, if I were to just go no makeup at all, where the sun would naturally hit my skin and reflect off. That's what we're mimicking with highlighter. A few other places I like to put highlighter, and that's gonna be one right here on my temple. Go out into the sun and just like turn your face and see where are the parts of your face that stick out. Those are the parts you wanna highlight. Maybe your forehead really sticks out. Maybe you don't wanna highlight that. It also comes down to preference, okay? I used to highlight my entire forehead. I actually really like that look a lot, but I've toned it down for my everyday look, and that's to be just right here above my eyebrow. It looks like it's more targeted, more purposeful. And then the other place you can put on the tip of your nose, down the bridge of your nose. And that's just to highlight and accentuate how much we've made our nose thin from the contour of the bronzer, as well as highlighting the tip of our nose and the bridge of our nose. You could also put a little bit right here on your chin. Because I do get oily on my chin, I'm not going to do that because by the end of the day, I'll have a little bit of natural oil poking through there. So after applying a full face of makeup, I get foundation that comes around my lips because I want to make sure that I'm blending very well into my lip line. So I'm going to come in and just wipe that excess foundation off. Then what I'm going to do is come in with a lip liner. So a lip liner, I used to not wear a lip liner for years. I would walk around, my lips naked like this, a little bit of eyeshadow of course, and it just makes my face look very ghostly. The purpose of a lip liner is to help your lipstick stay in the lines of your lips and also to help define your lips. Even if you're just going to wear chapstick, putting on a little bit of lip liner after you've put on a full face of makeup will just help bring some more definition to that feature of your face. So for me, I like to line the exact line of my lips. I have naturally full lips. I am very grateful for them, and so I don't feel the need to overline with them. Next, I'm going to be coming in with my lipstick. Lipstick can be any color. The one I'm coming in with is just to help provide a little bit of color to my lips. You see how much more my lips just look defined and like they're actually a part of my face now? Whereas before they were kind of like sinking in like they were a ghost getting suffocated. Now it looks like my face is very cohesive. And the last lip product that we have is a lip gloss. But what a gloss is supposed to do is bring some shine and hydration back to your lips. Just be careful if you're going to be in windy weather and your hair's down, even these little baby hairs will get stuck in your lips and it's really not fun. So just be very conscientious when you're wearing lip gloss, what kind of weather you have, where you're going to be, indoor, outdoor. And I'm just going to apply a little bit here. You see how much more of a shine that brought to my lips, which can make them look fuller, it can make them look more youthful, because as we start to get older, our lips, they get lines, they can kind of look like they're shriveling up a little bit, be a little bit drier, skin starts drying out. Lip gloss can bring that youthfulness back to our lips. And next, I do not do anything with my brows because they match my face. I like their shape and they match my hair color. I do brush them up because it opens up my eyes so much more. I have hooded eyes, and so by not brushing up my eyebrows, it really keeps my eyes closed off, whereas this just opens up so much more, and all of a sudden I have more lid space to work with as well. So I'll go ahead and do an eye look now, and then I'll talk through the last few products that we have for this step-by-step makeup look. I have a whole eye look here. The next products that I want to talk about are eyeliners. So we have a retractable pencil liner. It's not a real pencil, but it is pencil-like that has this tiny little tip here. And then you also have liquid eyeliner. This one is definitely a little bit trickier to use. You see that really teeny tiny little brush. So I'm going to go ahead and use my pencil liner for this look. And the point of an eyeliner is to darken up your lash line. We're very purposeful with where we put the eyeliner. You could also create a wing if you wanted to do that as well. But an eyeliner is to help define the shape of the eye look you want. So although I have more kind of rounded, hooded eyes, if I wanted, that really like foxy siren eye look, I could define it using just eyeliner, and I could change the entire shape of my eye just using eyeliner. It gives this illusion that my eye is shaped differently than it actually is. And then the last product we have here is mascara. Mascara is the one product I could never, ever, ever go without. My lashes are blonde. You would not know that they are long and naturally curled without me wearing mascara. The mascara is meant to cover your eyelashes. See, you had no idea I had lashes until I started putting this on. This is meant to deepen or darken your lashes and to give a finishing touch to your eye look. Now, if you don't have lashes, or maybe your lashes stick straight out, you may need a lash curler. You can also use false lashes as well. I still like to use those from time to time because it will change up my look. And there we have a full face of makeup, product by product, what each of them does. I hope that you were able to learn something from this. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and especially subscribe so that I can keep creating more awesome content like this for you guys. Make sure you check out this next video where I talk about all of the face brushes and eye brushes that you need to be able to apply makeup, especially for beginners. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!